corrosion. Corrosion not only related to pipes, but in general also concrete. Anything that would self-heal in the event that something cracks. Now, in the early days, it started off with concrete as well. So if there was a crack in the concrete, is there a material that would flood that area and seal it from, I don't know, progression of water or anything? We work in the coating world, so of course our focus was always to see that happen in the coatings. Coatings, of course, protect pipelines and all kinds of steel structures against corrosion, and in the event that they age or crack, would they self-repair? Now, in the past, it's been worked on a lot, especially in the liquid coatings, where they would put these micro capsules filled with another coating inside, and if they do crack, the micro capsules will crack as well, self-heal, and you would still have protection. The problem was that most of the coatings age, and therefore, even though it works for a certain amount of time, after 30 years it's not going to happen. Because either the micro capsules dried out, or in the event of other materials, butyl rubbers or something, they also lose their properties of the flow over time, and they're not able to self-repair. One of the materials that we work a lot with, which is polyisobutene, has been used and played with in the past, especially in the concrete, is something that will self-heal. And then if you put it into concrete, and the concrete cracks, would it flow and fill out the cracks? And it would. So when creating a coating, we just thought, why work on something which would have micro capsules almost as an external protection within a coating, when you can make a whole coating which can self-heal. So if you have something of a liquid, how do you cut a liquid? How do you crack a liquid? You don't. So it flows and it fills in all the pores and therefore self-healing. And when you work with materials that do not age over time, then obviously you can do that for a very long time. The intention, of course, is to give life to the asset. Most of the asset has a lifetime of 70 to 80 years, and that's exactly the goal that we want to achieve with these types of coatings. Have something which protects over 70 or 80 years. Now, of course, the inspiration always should come from nature, because nature's been around a lot longer than we have. Sometimes we play smarter than nature and it doesn't turn out too well. But you know, if you look at trees, like the caoutchouc tree, that one has self-healing power. Or trees in general with the sap. You damage it, material comes out and it self-heals. And therefore that area will not rot over time. And that should be the inspiration and development in most of the products. Who do we offer these products to? Currently, we work mainly in the oil and gas industry. These are some of the big shots that we work with, whether they're contractors, specifiers, or the end users. We offer a self-healing solution, so something that will last for the lifetime of the asset, to protect and keep it going for as long as possible. So what is our position in the market? I can say number one, or I can say the only one, in reality, that offers a self-healing product that can last for as long as the lifetime of the asset. So what's the potential of the market? Again, huge. Because if the technology is recognized by everyone, if everybody is interested to seal for life, not for now, then obviously we can offer a solution for life. What does it look like? Well, this is an example of what a pipe is buried with. It shouldn't be like this. There's a procedure which tells you exactly the sand that you should use to protect your pipe. But in reality, you just bury it with whatever is available, which are mainly rocks, and you destroy the coating. Once you destroy the coating, and if you broke the coating, there you have a problem. And unless the coating self-heals, self-repairs itself, then you have expansion of corrosion. It just continues until all the coating is gone. So by having something which self-heals, here's an example. And you remove this mechanical protection on top of it. Underneath there is a coating which flows, doesn't age, so it will flow over time, and therefore it will self-heal. So if I took the example of a tree, imagine that the pipe is a trunk, this is the bark of the tree. So you break the bark and you get self-healing. Why do we do this in our industry? There are studies which prove that 75% of the success of a coating is in fact application and handling and backfilling, which means that only 25% of the coating is success. So we try and change that value. When you do make changes, of course, and you think you created something incredible, it needs acceptance. Everybody sees it. Yeah, you learn to walk on water, and everybody says it's because you can't swim. They don't see the added value that you gave to them. And that's something that we spend a lot of time on, marketing and so on, to get it to the industry. But there are opportunities. The world is changing. Everybody cares about the environment. Funny thing is, we care about the environment more than ourselves sometimes. And thanks to the care for the environment, we also get the benefits of it. So if you look at the CO2 levels, it's more, the trees are dying, not that the people are dying. But the good thing is that it is changing, so people are looking at it from an environmentally friendly perspective. People are looking at investments as well. Look at the price of oil. Can people afford to maintain their assets right now? They can't. So imagine they had a coating which outlasts the asset and self-heals over time, the advantages they would have had. So we see benefits also in taking a step further in research and development and developing further the self-healing part. And then of course there is other markets, concrete, wood, fibers, and so on. And that will be it, right? You're warning me out here. Yeah. I can talk forever. Apologies for the So in terms of timing, just so everyone else knows, that was 50% too long, but it's a very good solution.
Next on question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was saying because I thought it was a very good remark. Okay, our customers nowadays have a lot of money for investing. So basically, this is the solution for them to outlast their, let's say, their investment.
Yeah.
But let's say they don't want to do that. Let's say we're selling an investment good. Would it make sense to say, okay, you know what, we provide the coating ourselves and we get paid on the last state of the asset? Is that a business model which we take a look?
I'm not sure I understood.
Let's say, okay, the asset is 10 years old.
Yes.
And it starts to crack, and we say, okay, you know, we put this in, self-healing.
Yes.
And we're sure that it's going to last another 50 years.
Yes.
And the customer doesn't want to pay for it. And we say, okay, you know what?
No, we do that. We do a lot of that. It's called rejuvenation, where we go to the old assets and we apply this type of material to increase the value of the asset.
Okay.
And even in the event of sale of this asset, they're able to sell it more because they are protected better, but also from the point of view of insurances and so on, because your asset is better protected, therefore the risk of something going bad is also taken care of. So again, the insurance premiums, so there's a whole world that you can develop out of this.
But still really benefits from that? So if you say the insurance policy goes lower, do we get the benefit of the company for it?
Us? No, we just get the benefit.
Well, we sell the value.
Yeah, we sell value.
That's the reason. Okay, that's how we do it.
Do we kill ourselves in the future? Probably, yes. Because we'll never go back to the same job. But yes, we're environmentally and people friendly. My presentation goes about EasyCoat, which is a derivative from Stopak. 100% pure polyethylene-based coating system, which is unique in the market. Compared to condition coating. It's emission-free, so during production and during application, no hazards are coming out of the product. It's produced here in Stadskanaal, the Stopak facility. It's on the market since mid-2014. Which markets do we address? It's not traditional pipeline coating business, but it's for civil construction, bridges, waterway, highway constructions, oil and gas, petrochemical, but above ground, not submerged or immersed, as what we do normally with stone. What is booming is renewable power, mainly driven by the wind offshore market, very profitable market.
So you need different products for atmospheric application. Market size and position, this comes out of Coding World's 18 plus billion in 2023. It's a growing business, and it's a better profitable market as the pipeline business. And that's also one of the main reasons we moved from traditional applications up to something different. Position in the market, yeah, we're small. I don't want to say it's a startup, but we're a runner-up in a big profitable market. Market share less than 1%, I can say that. But what we do is good, and we're gaining market share. And it's mainly driven on the quality we show under harsh conditions. To support that, we also comply to the traditional coding system qualifications, ISO 1294040 and the 2340, which is specially for offshore codings. How does it work? You can see here we have a two-layer system, we have a one-layer system. This is a prepared substrate, we put a base coat on it, and when you have a two-layer system, you apply a top coat on it. That's it. It's the sticker material. And to give you an idea, so the reason I took the sample. This is the material. Fluffy, that's the material. It brings me to the one-layer system we use for difficult environments offshore. That's the one-layer system. It's actually a finished top material, polybutylate based with a self-cleaning foil, UV resistance. It's actually designed for 30 years plus under C5M. That is it's offshore climate. And the only thing we do is we degrease it when you have some rust particles. Remove it by hand and put a sticker on it. And this is the material. I'll show you. You can take it afterwards, see what it is. But that's it. It's simple. How do we apply it? At minimum substrate preparation. You always have to refer to the specific standard. This is SD2, SD3. SD2 is by hand. SD3 is by mechanical tools. Cleaning, of course, because we don't adhere on greasy substrates. Dew point, we don't adhere on wet substrates, but we have to check it. It's not different from traditional coding systems. But then you put it on the substrate and you leave the job site. And when you have some doubts, and I always compare it with traditional coding systems, when it doesn't adhere, it will not perform. And when you have to prove that with traditional coding systems, you have to go back after a week because it has to cure, and you have to do the adhesion test. We do it differently. We put a strip of the material, put it on the substrate, do our adhesion check, and within 5 to 10 minutes we know that we will have a successful installation. You can imagine that when you have an installation on a remote object, you don't go back. People don't go back. And you need to know sure that you will have a good performance system. Unique selling points, I must say we are lucky because we have a lot of unique selling points. It's a pore-free system. When I compare it to traditional coatings, okay, sorry. No tools, to do it by hand. Lower mobilization cost, because you don't need your special equipment. Then you take a rip and you go to the job site. No creep, water creep underneath the system. No curing time because it's not curing. No chloride substrate contamination because we adhere on contaminated substrates. And when you have salt contamination, it's no problem for us. It is for traditional coatings. Not sensitive to bacteria. It's a very good point because all bacteria will degrade existing coatings because they grab into the pores and destroy your system. High substrate tolerance, so clean and dry, that's sufficient. Reduce shutdown times, even during the production you can do it because it has no emission. Compatible to all existing coating systems because it adheres to fertile oil substrate. Again, dry and clean, it sticks. very good thing, environment-friendly corrosion protective system on the market. There is no alternative. This is unique in the market. And of course, total cost of ownership. Okay, we don't sell corrosion protection for 5 years, but 25, 30 years plus. So you can imagine that when you do this approach, and actually what we do is we sell corrosion protection per square meters per service lifetime. This is the best option. Market opportunities and challenges. I must say we're moving from traditional to non-traditional markets. You get a lot of spin-offs, and we'll see that later as well. Fire retardant, solar cells included in the material. Completely different as what we normally do. Growing marketplace, particularly the renewable, high margins, very high margins. What are our challenges? Actually, we want to have it look better. We're on the right track, but I think, it's my personal opinion, we should go thinner. It looks more nicely. Aesthetics is very important. And also speed up the production process, because that takes time. It's a complicated product to produce. That's it. 5 minutes.
Everyone at SFL has been practicing for 7.5 minutes, but that seems to be the average. Jury, you talked about total cost of ownership.
Yeah.
If you were pitching to a specific facilities manager or maintenance manager for a piece of kit, do you have models that you can actually?
Yeah, we have what we call our client appreciation, and that is a model provided by Shell to us to Stoke Silver. And then you will see all the costs. You take all the costs: scaffolding, preparation, mobilization cost, generator rent, etc. And then finally also the product cost. You will see that most of the time the product costs are double. But the initial saving costs are 42% already. And then you're ready. And that's only after you finish the application. You can imagine that when you have a system which is applied to do its best for 25 plus years, every year you will make a lot of money. And that is not our model. That is a model provided by clients to ourselves. And that works. And when you say, okay, our source is independent. It's not what we say, it's what our clients.
And for the, as we're still coming from the heritage specialty side, everyone is interested in weights and prices. Do you know roughly what the grammage and the price per square meter would be?
Yes, it can start roughly at 50 for 500 euros per square meter material or something.
Agri thing?
SFL.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Questions?
5 minutes. 5 minutes? Okay, we have already seen that details cannot be captured in 5 minutes, so I'll try to do better. For basics, we rely on the Stopa technology with our seal tape, concrete repair, so a non-aging material, like what Dinko already mentioned, non-aging self-healing. So we capture that in the material that he has created to concrete. It's manufactured here in Stopa, introduced into the industry around 2015, developed in 2014, the real introduction to the industry was 2015. And we made it available to the Waterfront Brigade members, which Martijn is one of, which I'll come back to that later. Our industry, what is it about? Stop Aqua. There still is something that from the history comes from Stop Aqua, that's very strong. We are still recognized for stopping aqua. When you have a leak, like what we see here, in the tunnels, highways, the normal seals, normal joint seals, existing out of rubber, bituminous materials, after a few years, they age, they break, they have a leakage. Who to call? Stop aqua. Yeah. So that's one of the existing markets that we are addressing at the moment. Also, repair, renewal of listed objects. Water basins, drink water tanks, sewage waters, all what has to do with leakage, joints, joint seals, we repair. New development or a new market we address, also brick. Yeah, again, listed objects, very important to keep them intact, to avoid any sewage, any water from outside leaking into the canals. Remember Bruges, Ghent, important. We are talking now to the authorities to have these tunnels sealed and to keep them intact. So what does our industry, emergency repair jobs in the civil industry, that's the main focus now. We want, of course, we want to go to already seal on forehand, seal for life. That's where our focus is. The advantage of the current market is that we have an extremely high added value. We have a great recognition, great appreciation from the clients. The downside, disadvantages, the same high added value. Because our high added value is mainly capacity service. So as long as we don't benefit from service, we only benefit from the product itself. We want to change that model. And that's why, to create growth, make sure that we do the correct marketing, but not the correct marketing on our own. Like if we go to the industry and we tell how great products we have, what does it bring us? Does the industry really understand what we are doing? We have to show it. So we have exclusive partnerships. We capture it in the waterfront brigade, and we make sure that we benefit from the marketing and from the products and from the jobs that we do. We bring back all this marketing, all this experience, we bring back to the people, we share it. Combined marketing is also what we require from our partners. Make sure that everything that you do is documented, that we can share it with the rest of the world. Creating more awareness, creating more partners. Currently we have 3 partners, 2 in Holland, 1 in Belgium. The third one in France is coming up. And also talking to the partner in Germany now. So that creates growth. Growth from product perspective. 2016, 60 to 70,000 euros on the product only. This year we estimate to do 100 to 150. By 2020 we estimate to do more than 750,000 only on the products. This is only based on the existing industry that we have now. If we create more partnerships, increase the market share, address different type of products or different type of markets, we will grow that industry. Now, going back to the fact that was highlighted by Michelle, it's very interesting for such a small market share to heavily invest and to develop it. We take the lead in this with our PIP-based technology. We take it from the oil and gas industry, we bring it to the civil industry. We take the lead. We are leaders, market leaders. If we don't do it, competition will do it. If the competition will do it, we will be back to square one, following the competition, lowering our margins, because then we have to compete on price. So does it make sense to invest on this technology? Yes, it does. Same what Cor was highlighting, we sell 50 euros to 500 euros per square meter. It all depends on what solution you provide. How big is the problem of the client? How can you help out the client? And it can only take place if we know the problem of the client, if we know his issue, and if we know the value of the solution. We have to be in the market. That's it.
What kind of, let's say, partners are we looking for? Are there constructing companies?
Marine construction companies. So we have, we started with Boskalis, a very big one. Then we took Boskalis, we developed in Boskalis jet power coating in the oil and gas industry. We grew the business of the diving company in Boskalis. They had seven crews all around the world, operational every day. Only with Slovak, we created 2 extra crews, 2 extra vessels. They have Slovak business on 365 days a year. Now we have, with Boskalis, it didn't work out as we wanted, because it's a big company. Yeah? They don't feel much for partnerships, keep everything for their own. Now we take, with the waterfront brigade, we take the smaller companies, but in an exclusive market. Now with BTS, they will show also the disciplines. So civil works, underwater works, mainly diving, solid, not small companies, great companies. The small in size, great in doing the job, great in doing marketing. These guys are building our industry. portfolio.
To ask when you ask a simple question, just for the non-SFL people, what's the difference between stopback and sealback?
The SealTech product is developed, it has a material in it that also can absorb water, that can expand. Where stopback is completely sealing off. The product that we're talking about now also has the characteristic on the outside that it becomes a little hard. So you have a real rigid product which stays soft on the inside. So you benefit from the flexibility, the adherence to the substrates, and to the expansion and sealing. So we combine these three characteristics into one product. So we go constantly a step further.
James, also addressing your question, I think you also mentioned why SealTech the name. The reason is why we go to by building construction. You don't want to cannibalize or jeopardize our stopback name and brand. If you say, oh, we are in oil and gas, and now we are in, do the sell shops, stuff like that, the same brand. So we want to keep the build brand for specific markets, powered by stopback.
I'm going to touch just very briefly on the concept of growth, what we're talking about. There's different ways to achieve growth. If the new build pipeline market is down, as you saw the graph, then we move into rehabilitation. If the oil and gas market is down, then we move into water. But the concept here is you always have to be moving. Another way to move is if you see a product in the market that you like, it fits very well with the vision and mission of Seal for Life. You can't or you don't want to buy that company, then how do you get the product? You do a deal for it. And that's what we've done with the CCB Seal for Life internal versatile sleeve. This sleeve is a heat limiting sleeve. It provides for continuous seal. It seals both the internal girth well, but also protects the internal coating from corrosion inside the pipe and everything flowing through that pipe. It is made in Houston. It has a 20-year plus track record. There are patents on it, and we have just done a deal to acquire it for Seal for Life. So we will be marketing this throughout the world. What markets do we address? I just mentioned it, internal girth weld, internal coatings. But you'll see from up there that really this goes throughout the pipeline world. All kinds of diameters, all kinds of, it's compatible with all kinds of liquid coatings that we need to match. It's also compatible with internal pigging and cleaning. Integrity management is a very big thing in the pipeline industry today. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to describe it very quickly. The material there, the green material that you see, is made out of PTFE. For those chemistry buffs here, that's Teflon. Very good, very good. It's the same stuff that you put on the inside of your pans, the non-stick coating. And it's basically carbon and fluorine atoms together. They get its strength. It's non-stick, so that allows the materials to flow through it very easily. You see the two rings right there on either side. Those two rings are called O-rings. They're made out of Viton. They're there to help compress the sleeve against the pipe. The middle metallic ring right there in the middle, that is used to center for the welder. When you have two pipes together, the pipes will come on. That metal ring will be beneath. It will actually be blended into the weld. That's the anchor for the sleeve inside the pipe. The little knobs that you see right there, that's to put the pipes on to line it up. So that actually when it touches, you actually have the weld gap where you can weld from. Very sophisticated product, put together, very easy to use. This is an internal view. I usually only highlight that middle part there, the yellow part, because beneath the metal backing, obviously that gets very hot during the weld process. That yellow part right there is an insulator inside that's capable of withstanding heat up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it keeps the heat isolated from the rest of the sleeve and isolated from the internal coating. So what value do we bring to the market? Well, it's lightweight, easy to transport. You've seen it, it's very small. There's no additional crew or equipment required. In particular, there's no big line coat clamps that you need to put it into place. It isolates the girth weld 100%, so what you have is a complete pipeline where whatever the pipe is carrying can just flow straight across it. It's a very good product for Seal for Life because it lasts at least for 30 years. It's very similar to some of the other pipeline products we have, so it can be sold in together with these other products. So it becomes very much a part of Seal for Life, both our mission and our vision. Has an excellent track record over 20 years. It shows that it's sold both onshore and offshore. It has many USPs. You want an enemy? We have one. It's called Tubiscope. All of these USPs are set as benefits of our product over Tubiscope. Precision, the number one thing. That means the internal fit of the sleeve in the pipeline. It is precisely measured for the tolerances of that pipeline so that when it fits together, there is no gap between the sleeve and the pipeline. There's two sets of O-rings. Tubiscope has one. The sleeves are thinner and they have a long taper. That long taper helps the flow go through without friction. And so far, there have been 0 failures after installation on this product, whereas Tubiscope has struggled. Market opportunity and key challenges. Although this sleeve's been around for 20 plus years, it has very, very little limited exposure outside the U.S. We have sold some sleeves over the last 3 or 4 years, primarily in India, but we have the rest of the world that's going to be open to this sleeve. Great product for SFL, as I've said. We're going to see increased sales just through the geographic expansion, putting this through our regional offices and our distributor network. And we have the ability, through our marketing and branding, to further develop the USPs of this product. Key challenges, I mentioned it's been in the market 20 years, some of the patents are starting to expire. And what's happening, people like Tubiscope are trying to put the 2 rings onto the product. They haven't quite figured it out yet, but they're trying. So that's coming. We see this opportunity somewhere in the range of $2 million to $5 million just in the next couple of years. That's an annual figure. Questions?
What's the additional value you selling another one's product? Because basically it's a trading product. Is there any margin for you guys?
Absolutely. We're selling solutions to the client. When we go in and sell an external sleeve, now we're offering an internal sleeve. Same client, same opportunity, another product in the pipeline for good margins.
Okay. You can control the production process because that's, I take a look at, for instance, in cable we buy also external materials, but that's always been a question.
That's part of the contract. They're ISO 9001, but obviously we've been into the production. We understand how they produce it. And as I said, they've had no failures, so they have a very good track record.
And what do you think they haven't been successful? They haven't been really successful so far because the market wasn't ready for the technology, or because they didn't have the route to market?
They didn't have the route to market. They're too small. And what they realize now is they have a competitor that's part of a much larger company that has greater reach, even without the technology of their product. So they needed a partner, and we provided that global reach. So it was a very good marriage.
Okay, can I handle then your external materials between 2 and 5 million extra? Can I handle that? In terms of production?
Yeah.
So no additional investments, no nothing?
No. Yeah.
No production.
Excuse me?
No production. There's a production problem or not?
There is no production problem. We don't produce, no.
No, what I mean then, because if you guys are starting to sell bombs, booming and everything else, can they follow? That's the question.
Michelle has some nerves about capacity.
For what we see right there, the 2 to 5 million, there's no additional capacity required. We go beyond that, then different discussion.
So the value add is, one, it provides allows the flow through the pipe. Two, it allows you to line the pipes bang on right.
Yeah.
Get the weld back right.
There's no change in the welding process.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like you're jigging yourself.
That's correct. Internal corrosion protection, but also the insulation from the heat, because that weld right there is one of the areas that corrodes fastest internally. Yeah. So you're protecting the weld, but you're also protecting the internal coating from the heat of the weld.
Okay, does this open market for Stopbox, Sealtech, all the other products we see so far? does this open new markets for you guys, or this is just additional on top of what you have today?
This is additional right now being sold into the oil and gas market, the water and wastewater market, and small pipeline market. So it could take us into new areas like district heating and things like that. But for now, we're really looking to add it into the markets where we already are.
Oh,
Just one.
we have time.
Can I?
Yeah.
So, just, I want to ask you about the process. Since you find that product would be interesting, up to the moment you decide, or SFL decide to trade with this product. How long it takes, who participate in the decisions, and this type of thing. Just to understanding the process.
We've been cooperating with this company for 5 years. So we sold our first sleeve in early 2013. So, and we've been selling them regularly ad hoc into projects in India. So what we want to do right now is to educate the rest of our group on this opportunity, this possibility. We've gone out and secured the rights for it, and now we can sell it in the rest of the world. So it was something that we knew, something that we understood. We knew the partner. It made sense both for us and for them.
I think it's a good question, one we can take offline to understand a bit more, because it's I think something which we would like to do more in the historic specialties, but haven't really seen how to do. Okay, good.
One question. Nathan, how do we address the fact that now all the welding sheets are changing? The geometrics of the welding seams are changing, become new developments. Item is one of the companies, also is one of the companies that are really addressing. So how do we develop the product or redevelop the product around it?
Well, this is really a KISS strategy, keep it simple, stupid, yeah? And if you look where the two pipes come together there, you got the beveled edges of the pipe in the middle. It's a very simple 3/4 inch to 1 inch cutback. That's the welding area. They have the metal sheet that goes right into that area. That sheet acts as the guide. You got the two pins in place. You put the pipes up to the pins. It gives you your weld gap. And then everything else, you have a certified welder, anybody can do this. There's no extra equipment, there's no extra knowledge needed.
Yeah, but so the pins, they define the weld gap.
Yeah, they do.
The problem is now with the new design of on the weld seams, they don't need the pins. They cannot even use the pins. How do we go with that? Can we help?
The pins are removable.
Do you see a possibility to help the client to address it and to create a better welding process?
I don't know if there's a better welding process, just to be clear about how it happens.
And then we'll try and wrap up to start getting a bit technical.
Can you do it offline?
Okay. I got another slide.
Good morning again. Good morning again. I don't know if you were here before, recently, but I'm Frank Muffels, working for Seal for Life, the World Brands, and based in Singapore. And then there's something called RayClad, so it's the first heat shrinkable technology what you see now in the presentations. RayClad 80, RayClad 120. Why 80, why 120? It has to do with the max surface temperature of the pipeline process. To apply two-layer tape coating system for corrosion protection of pipelines till this to surface temperature. It is produced in Mexico, in the Ghana plant, all the heat shrinkable products are produced. And what I did understand since 1976, that for sure, Dave, you know that for sure better, that is correct, but this is what I got as information on RayClad. What markets do we address? Onshore and offshore oil and gas pipelines, which we are mainly in, water pipelines. The market versus $1 million. It's mainly used in Pakistan, South Korea, Japan, and Kazakhstan up till now. So it's an old product in the covalence branch. RayClad, RayCam is still a little bit in, so that is already saying that it is a long time there. How does it work? It's continuous holiday-free permanent barrier against oxygen and water, so stop corrosion for high temperature pipelines. So that means high surface temperatures, 80, 100. There's a plant applied system, you will also see that later, so it's not in the ditch or in the field. It can be done, but you need a plant for that. It's a thick radiation cross-linked polyethylene based backing coated with a high shear strength thermoplastic component adhesive. Very technical terms there. The two-layer system is applied in one. Here you see an example of that. It's the plant here. You see the tape, the shrinkable tape. What is the application of the shrinkable? As I told you, need a plant, you need a conveyor for the pipe to move. So you need it, first of all, blasted. This needs to be clean, different from the systems, the coating systems what you saw before. There's a much easier surface treatment. This one is blasting, so you need a machine to do that. You need to preheat the pipe for the regular 80 170s, for the regular 120 190 speed. Then the heat shrinkable tape is spiraling applied on the pipe and heated with a torch to get the shrinking effect. Water cooling, because a hot pipe or hot coating you cannot move, so you need water cooling till 80 degrees more or less, and cut back preparation, and the pipe is coated. What is the added value? There are a lot of points. High shear resistance provides strength to soil stresses. Easy of installation compared to other plant applied systems. If you think about 3-layer systems with FBE, with adhesive, this you apply a 1-layer system, which is actually an adhesive and a top coat together. And it's ready to install. So minimize damage to transport and handling, high resistance again backfill, it was already before. Operating temperature range again here, higher operating temperatures of the pipelines, 80 and 120 degrees C. No shelf life issues on the material or gel time limitations, because when you work with epoxies you have gel time issues, etc. UV resistance, high impact resistance, and good cathodic involvement, corrosion protection protocols. Market opportunities, I was a little bit surprised because I was trying to find some new information on regular 80 and 120. You see it's an old product. There is what we need to change. We need to give that a new image if we want that. So the need of promotion and marketing, coating applicators, end users. Again, so this is a plant applied system, so you need to have a coating applicator, a coating plant. So we need to produce new data sheets, installation guides, also with a new Seal for Life image. That's important. Why continue? Yeah, the ease of application. To use regular at the elevated temperatures or higher operating temperatures, and yeah, the coating properties of the material itself. So that is in very short break like I hope 4 minutes.
5. Good.
5. Thank you. Okay.
It's not cannibalizing stolpak or any other material.
No. Yes, of course, but in principle all the corrosion products are overlap in market.
Yeah.
But you can also use that as because sometimes in a project, maybe project driven, you can use both solutions, yeah, or a combination of the solution. That is.
What's the main difference between the two? Yeah, I'm here for the first time, so I have no clue. So what is the difference between the dry pan and then the stolpak? What is the main difference between the two?
The difference is that this one is hot applied,
Yeah.
so you need to heat your pipe, you need to blast your pipe, you need a plant, stolpak, you use elastic, you can do it in the field. The surface treatment on your substrate is much easier, so that is the main difference, so the ease of application.
Ease of application.
If you compare this in plant applied coatings to, for example, 3-layer, 5-layer, systems available in the market. And this one, compared to this system, is much easier. So
And this is cheaper.
But this is, for example, what you cannot do with three-layer systems, so factory apply. You cannot produce small quantities. With this, you can produce very small quantities.
Would you ever, would an end user or would somebody always decide that they want to pre-coat rather than coat on site, or is that something SFL will become involved in and recommend?
And the nice thing is that you will see that later we have the possibility to also give them the plant, so to make the equipment to apply this system. So we do that, it's called fast, we do that with Stopak technology, but we can also use for this technology, for the heat shrinkable technology. So you can combine this with the same. So that's giving advantage of flexibility, that's it.
Good, any more questions?
And for the 120 degrees C rated product, don't you see in the territories where the rated is so the competition from polypropylene coated pipes?
Yeah, of course, that's in competition with each other, but it's mainly specified, and you have to see there the possibility where you can. I mean, we are not supplying 3-layer or 5-layer PP.
No, I was just asking to understand how the market is behaving.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel there that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Hi everyone, my name is Richard Brownlee. I'm one of the directors for Sealpack South Africa. We're a division of Stopak Southern Africa. And basically they have paved the way for us, what we call, we are basically the babies of South Africa. We have now moved into the more commercial sector, where basically what we're doing is we're using Stopak, a combination of Stopak and Sealpack products, to basically waterproof and stop corrosion happening on people's roofs, the hotel industry's pipelines, all those sort of things. We are actually using our products in that sort of a market. So what I'll do now is I'll show you a quick video and I'll talk you through it and just sort of show you exactly what's happened before, what's happened during, and after results of pretty much what we have done and achieved. Before I start, just to give you a quick thing, unfortunately I haven't done the market research on exactly what it is, but just to let you know, our industry, which is the waterproofing industry in South Africa, we're looking at about a 16.8 billion rand industry. If you take that into euro, you're probably around your 8 billion sort of euro market. That is the industry that we deal in. Obviously, I'm sure it varies for different countries. Obviously, in South Africa, that is our market. So here's our video. So what I'll do is you'll see a video. So this is just a couple of before photos of your roofing. What you'll see is your normal sort of torch on, your bitumens, your painted on acrylic paints and things like that. This is the results that we get prior to us going and actually doing an application on the roof. That is what the roof looks like as we remove the actual waterproofing because damaged. It is the actual movement of the building and the actual existing waterproofing acts as a water coat and stops water evaporating, which damages the roof. As you can see, I mean, the actual substrate of the roof is pretty bad, so we have to clean it down to exactly how we want it. And we then start to apply the Stopak. So here you can see we're actually applying the Stopak to the roof. It is a very easy application, as you guys have obviously heard already. We get the substrate ready and we then apply directly to the concrete, cement, steel, corrugated roofing, anything like that. That is then what it looks like prior to us, and we put a mechanical on top. If they want titanium areas, you put a harder surface, and then obviously if they're just going to use it for their roofing, you just put a normal sort of paint or something on top to give it that nice look. So what you'll see now is once we've actually finished the application, you can see the difference between the two. Obviously the turquoise green is your Stopak, and the existing silver is the existing waterproofing that they had prior to our installation. The actual movement of the product, the Stopak products, has that flex. It gives such a difference because the buildings contract and expand as they get hot and cold. This is the sort of thing that you want on your roof so you can breathe with your building. And this is obviously your end result. This is one of the biggest hotel chains that we have in South Africa. It's called Sun International. They have about 48 different hotel chains just in South Africa, and then obviously more internationally. They are obviously using us as a preferred supplier. I'm sure some of you may have heard of Sun City. They are the same company that owns this as a hotel. This is one of the prestigious hotels. And the nice part about the Snowpack as well is because it's an everlasting product, you can add as you go. So because of their capex constraints, they couldn't complete the entirety of their roof because of money. So what they've done is we've done it now. We did half the roof, and then this year they commissioned us to go back again, and we will then complete the entirety of the roof. So you can see the actual finishing of it is completely in the Snowpack, where you actually can't beat the aesthetic feel and finish once you've actually finished the roof itself. This here, we've also taken it underneath the stones as well, so you can also recover the Snowpack as well if they would like to have that stone finish. And that is what we do. Then what we have also moved into in the industry is your aircon, solar paneling, and fiber cabling as well. So basically what you find is that you're using it to insulate the metal. You guys are saving finances on electrical costs because the insulation of the Snowpack is so much better than your normal PVC. So the guys actually save costs and they like that feel as well. As well as your fiber companies that we deal with, they are doing installation around our country with fiber. And basically what's happening is they're having a big problem when they're putting it in onto the ground, the water is getting in and it's actually damaging the fiber and the electronics. So using the different variants of the Snowpack products, actually using that as a shield and a barrier to stop the damage actually happening to their stuff, and they are actually loving it a lot more than what they would with your normal PVCs and so on. So again, solar paneling with the roofing industry and things like that, they're punching holes in the roofs and things like that. We are using the Snowpack to stop the water from damaging and actually getting in underneath whatever waterproofing there is. So the actual benefits of the healing factor that we saw is a big factor for us as a selling point when it comes to roofing, because it can help look after itself and maintain itself. We also do skylights using the putties and paste and fillers that Snowpack provide us with as well. We line the actual glass as opposed to removing the broken down rubber, and then we can actually just line it with the Snowpack, and that prolongs the life of the skylights and it stops them from leaking. So basically that is a quick introduction on what we've achieved so far. In South Africa we've only been going for about a year so far, and the results we've had are pretty astronomical from what we've had so far. So yeah, thank you. Yes, so basically the reason why we do the turquoise is that because especially with a big corporate company like that, they want to know that the product is eco-friendly. So they get a stamp because of the eco-friendliness of the products. We do that, one, to stand out from everyone else, and two, to show everyone that they are following the eco-friendly side. You can paint it silver, green, or black, pink, whatever you want to do, but basically we do that to show that to you.
UV stabilization aspect, or is that different from the south of South Africa or the north of South Africa? Or
we have done a lot of testing on it, but the UV stabilization or the UV damage that the Snowpack can withstand is more than what the South African climate can do. So basically, you can leave the Snowpack exposed, but can withstand the actual UV resistance of the African UV index. And then also we do, just for aesthetics, we put a paint on it. And they just need to redo the paint, because the paint takes the damage underneath, and then you can just repaint it every 5 to 10 years if you want to make it look pretty small.
Richard, did you sell in the services as well as the product?
Yes, so we did the actual installation as well, so we took our team, we removed the existing, because what you find, especially in the waterproof industry, is that the guys have put layer on layer on layer of the torch on, whatever it is that's existing on them, and it actually has 8 layers of waterproofing sitting on it, and it actually changed the flow of the roof. So what we did is we actually removed that and actually found the water actually flowed, because that's how the roof is designed. And the nice part as well with the Snowpack is that the overlaps are so minuscule that you actually find that the water does flow, as opposed to the giant overlaps that you get with your torch on. If you torch, you get these water wells that basically happen, and then that's where hatching and finds its way under.
So can you walk on the roof after you've done a stop back?
Yes, so basically your flat shoes, so like with that roof over there, basically only your service guys and stuff will be up there. They'll walk on flat shoes. Ladies in high heels and things like that, no, because that will puncture and damage the product. But a nice selling point that we use as well is that if the guys are installing aircon units or anything and they do damage the stuff, they can always buy a roll from us. We can then actually train their guys to be an installator, and then basically what will happen is they can then repair the roof themselves as opposed to having to redo the entirety of the roof. So there they can save costs, and it's a good selling point from our end.
Is that the EZR or the EZ?
That is the base coat. So we use a combination of the base coat as well as EZ. We also, just something I actually forgot to mention, is that in the construction companies as well, that we actually have expansion joints. We use again the fillers and the paste and in between the actual expansion joint to allow for the movement of the building, stopping water actually flowing through the expansion joints. So that's also something the guys are very into.
Okay, last question.
What's the route to market? You sell directly to end user, to contractors, you sell it through distributors?
We're doing a combination. So we are doing direct sales. So we obviously, like with the big hotel chains and things like that, we deal with them directly. But obviously, as we are Johannesburg based in South Africa, we've got Cape Town, Durban, so on and so forth. So we then would train a company to obviously apply, and then we would also send our own supervisors down to make sure that they are doing it the way that we've trained them. So you can do it as sort of, you can resell it on to obviously other guys and they can do the application for you. Obviously you need to make sure that they are doing it 100% because unfortunately we know we do it 100%, but they might not take a shortcut. And we don't want to do that because we stake on our name and obviously still fill out the name as well.
Okay. Thanks again.